दे चुके सनम, तेरे हो गए हैं हम, तेरी कसम.
Hi and welcome to midday.com, and joining us today, we are honored to have the legendary singer herself, Kavita Krishnamurti ji.
Hi, namaste to all of you, to you, Natasha, and to everybody watching this.
Happy to have you on Women's Day because you've inspired so many women.
Thank you. Thank you.
And ma'am, you yourself started your career with another legend, which is Lata ji. And if you'd like to share your memories as a newcomer in the industry when you were just starting up.
Actually, I was born and brought up in Delhi. But I had an aunt who was a Bengali aunt who was very, very passionate about music, and she saw me winning a few prizes, and she was convinced that I had a voice that fits playback, and so she kind of brought me to Bombay. She was ready to struggle, and I was quite young and not very sure with what I wanted to do with my life because I don't come from a musical family. My father was a government servant in Delhi in the Ministry of Education. So my environment was more government officers, and I thought I will be in Indian Foreign Service or civil service. That's the kind of mindset I had. But she somehow thought I would be a playback singer, and her point of contact, her point of inspiration for her was Hema Malini and her mother, Mrs. Jaya Chakravarti, who was her
Wow.
personal friend. And because we were all brought up in the same neighborhood in Delhi, even Hemaji was in the same neighborhood. She, my sister, were best friends. That is my auntie's daughter, Nandita. So once I came to Bombay, she brought me to Bombay, and then I got enrolled in St. Xavier's College. And somehow Xavier's has been a very, very good grounding for me in music too, because we had, so many artists who had passed out, and so many film people and their children were studying in Xavier's. And we would always invite some celebrity to attend the college day function. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was singing at a college day function in the first year of college when Hemant Kumarji came as a chief guest.
Wow.
And he came there, and his daughter Ranu was my classmate. And that's one thing led to another. Like, he heard me, and then he said, "Why don't you come and sing with me on stage? In different parts of India, wherever he's going." And my aunt immediately agreed. She said, "Yeah, it'll be a great honor for her to sing with you." And I was singing here and there, doing jingles, this, that, and the other. But this was a big thing, to sing with somebody like him. And then I went for concerts with him. And that is the time, one day when I was in college, he called me up and said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "I'm going to college as usual, Dada." He said, "No, you'll have to bunk college tomorrow, and you'll have to come to Raj Kamal Studios and be there at 10 o'clock in the morning." So my aunt and I took a taxi and we went to Raj Kamal Studios. I used to live in Bandra those days, and went to Raj Kamal Studios. And at 10 o'clock, he was there. The musicians were there. Everything was live those days in the singer's cabin. So he just taught me 4 lines of a Tagore song, just 4 lines of a Tagore song. And then he said, "You'll have to wait because you're singing it with Lataji."
Wow.
You know, this young college student, and at the same time, I was by nature at that point of time, I've changed a lot. I
Yeah.
used to be a very, very, very timid and, kind of slightly shy and very timid kind of a person. So when I heard that, my eyes literally popped out and I said, "Oh my God, there's no way will I be able to sing with her." My
Yeah.
hands were frozen. He understood. He kind of smiled. He gave me a smile. He knew what I was going through. And in a few minutes, the door opened and Lataji in her pristine white sari walked in. And she sat for some while with Dada and got her song straightened. She probably had heard the composition, so she got it straightened. It didn't take too long. And there we were in front of the 2 mics in a cabin, hers a little ahead of me, and I was diagonally slightly behind her. And the musicians playing in the hall here, and Dada in the booth here. And the rehearsal, and Lataji, for her, it's literally one rehearsal and one take. She's a
Yeah.
perfect artist. If she's not ready, she won't come to the mic. That's a feeling I got about her. So she was absolutely ready for the final rehearsal. So she came and she rehearsed the final rehearsal, and I forgot to sing my lines because I was so engrossed watching her. How she's singing, "This is Lataji," and I'm standing there, all these things, like going on in my mind.
Yeah.
So the take finished, and then Hemanta, the rehearsal finished. So Hemanta said, "What happened? You didn't sing?" I said, sorry. So Lataji kind of understood. So she just did this and she had her specs on. She just looked at me and smiled. She probably knew what had happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, now don't forget to sing the take. Now remember your lines. I said, yes. And then the take happened and I sang my lines. And I don't remember whether it was one take or two take, because with Lataji, it cannot be more than two takes. She's
Yeah.
just too, her final rehearsal, I've heard her after that in another song, when she sang for Rajesh Roshan in a song in Swami, Pal Bhar Mein Ye Kya Ho Gaya. Her final rehearsal was like the most perfect take a person can ask for. So anyway, I finished the recording and she was so sweet. As I was walking out of the studio with my aunt and we walked out of the studio, same time Lataji got out and she got, I think she had a white Mercedes Benz. She got into her Benz and as she left, we were just walking towards the gate, you know. She stopped and she said, "Aapko main kahin chhod दूँ?" So we said, नहीं दीदी चले जाएंगे टैक्सी लेके घर चले जाएंगे. She said, okay, अच्छा. And she left. That was my first memory of her, and that was my first film song in my life. For a Bengali film called Shriman Prithviraj, and it was a Tagore song.
That's so beautiful. And then you went on to work with.
Many many years later, when I met her, and actually I sang a lot of dubbings for her in between, which is a different story. But physically, I sang with her for Dar. She, Pam
Wow.
Chopra ji, and myself. That time I told Lata ji. She remembered. She said, "बहुत साल के बाद हम एक साथ गा रहे हैं."
Yeah.
You know, I said, "दीदी आपको याद है?" She said, "I said, you know, आपका पहला आपका आशीर्वाद, आपका हाथ मेरे सर पे आया और उसके बाद मुझे कभी पीछे मुड़ के देखना नहीं पड़ा जिंदगी में." I told her that, and she just smiled at me. I remember that day.
That's so beautiful. And then you went on to work with everybody that people can only dream of, right? From Manna Day to Lakshmikant Pyarelal, Kishore Kumar. It's an endless list, actually.
Look at Hemanda's graciousness. If you think about people those days, I remember after one concert, he called me home to, he said, come and take the money for the concert from me. And he was in car. So I went and took the money. He was in his office room and he sat down. He picked up the phone in front of me and called Manada and said, in Bengali, he spoke and he said that you're looking for a girl to sing duets and all with you on stage. This girl studies with my daughter, Ranu. She's in Xavier's. I think she will be very, very good for your concerts. So you please call her. He told her. And very soon, within 2 months, Manada called me for a concert to Surat. And this is all, I think this was probably in 72 and mid 72 probably. You know, from there, 18 years I sang with Manada.
Oh,
And 18 years all over the world. And I can't tell you what a graceful, very disciplined, like an army colonel. You know, he was like a colonel, like in his discipline, but so dedicated. I have not seen anybody so dedicated to music like him.
mm,
You know, his harmonium, I cannot think of him sitting without a harmonium. And so humble about himself, you know. I remember one particular line he told me. That day I came for a rehearsal at his house. And something happened, and he talked about his song in Padosan with Kishore Kumar.
yeah,
And you know what he said? He
yeah.
said, Kavita, if I had, you know, with my classical training, if I had a voice like Kishore, I would have won the whole world. Can you
Wow.
imagine how
Yeah.
humble? You know,
Humble.
once these days I've heard singers talking about each other like that. It was amazing. And that's what I learned from Manada, the humility. And also one thing I'll never forget what he told me was I took money for the concert from him, the check from him.
Mm,
And I was in Bandra, and right across the road, diagonally across the road was my bank, you know, and I had to cross and put the check. It takes about 5 minutes to walk to my bank. But those days, I had got my car and my
yeah.
driver. Okay. I had finished college and all this. I was just doing singing, and I'd managed to make enough money to get my own car and have my own driver.
Mm,
So the very next day, of course, I didn't go to the bank. Because it was a Saturday morning, I think, and maybe
yeah.
Sunday, and then something happened. Monday also, I didn't go to the bank, so I thought I'll put it on Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, I got a call from another for some other concert, and he said, "Okay, did you put your check? Have you put the check in your bank?" I said, "No, Dada, I'll." He said, "Why? I gave it to you 3 days ago. Why haven't you put it?" I said, "No, yeah, yeah. My driver has come. I'll go now." He said, your driver has come. Your bank is 5 minutes away. I've seen your bank right next to your house. You can't walk and go. You become a star. You need a car to go to the bank. He said, whatever happens, please keep your feet firmly grounded firmly on the ground. Don't get these starry airs that you need. He said, I take a car and I go to the fish market and I buy my own fish. I bargain and I buy my own fish. So you go to the studio, you go do your concerts, but when you come home, just be a common man. Just be a very normal, grounded person. Because I was very quiet and, I was listening to this lecture and feeling, why is he telling me all these things? I'm not very arrogant. Why is he saying? Then finally he said the most important sentence. He said, when all this happens, it's fine. It's a beautiful life. But when there's no fame, there is a time when anything that goes up will also come down. And there's a time when you won't have fame. For you to come back to a normal life will be very different, very difficult. So don't change your life. Don't make it so difficult for you when you're older and you don't have fame. For you, if maybe it's possible that you won't have a driver or a car. So don't make things difficult for yourself. Just remain grounded. That's something I've never forgotten all my life. I just feel that that's the best advice anybody could have given to a new singer. Because you can tend to fly. You can tend to fly soon. I didn't say I flied. I don't think I flied at all. It is not in my temperament, but it's true that, there are small things you forget to do for yourself. You think somebody else will do it for you, I don't think, And especially for women, you think about women, whatever career they are in, they are mothers. They are wives. They have duty as sisters also. And they have duties as grandmothers. Suddenly, if I just think I'm Kavita Krishnamurti, I will just go up on stage and sing and come back. And when I come home, I won't be a kind of a wife or a grandmother or a mother or even a sister to my brother needs something. I should be in a position to do it for him, right? At that point, if I say, why should I do it for him? Like, my servant or my manager or somebody can do it for him. If I start thinking like that, for women, it's very, very difficult because they need to play a lot of different roles. So to play all these roles, somewhere you have to be firmly entrenched in the ground.
Absolutely, that's so true. And ma'am, even today when we think of Sri Devi ji, Hawa Hawa is the first song that comes to mind. You can't, her list is incomplete without that song. And you did it so early in your career. So any anecdotes from there that come to your mind?
Well, Hawa Hawa anecdote, I have actually mentioned it quite often. The thing is, it was not originally supposed to be my song. I think Asha ji was supposed to sing that song because at those days I was most of the time I was dubbing. Very few of my original songs were kept. So I was told this is a very big film. The new Sri Devi ji is going to act, and it's a big film. Javed Saab is writing the lyrics. So finally, Asha ji will dub, but you will do it for the shooting. So that's how with that attitude I came. I learned the song and practiced on my Pakachiki Laki Chiki and all that, and came to the sets around 1:00. And songs, that particular song went till 10:30 at night, I think, because there were about 100 musicians and 40 chorus singers and a lot of coordinations to be done. And I remember great fun in the studio we had, and I finished singing the song, went back home, and quite a few months later, just before Hope 86 happened, just before that, Sri Devi ji was supposed to dance in Hope 86 Mumbai also. And just maybe a month or two before that, I'm not exactly remembering the time period, but I got a call from Lakshmi ji's house, and he spoke to me on the phone and he said, I've got some good news for you. Everybody's decided that you've sung the song very well and it suits Sri Devi ji a lot. So they're going to keep it in your voice, and badhai ho. I was so delighted. So I said, thank you, Lakshmi ji. This is so wonderful. And then before he kept the phone, I said, but Lakshmi ji, you know what? I made a mistake in one word. He said, kya galat gaya aapne? I said, जानू जो तुमने बात छुपाई, पहली बार तो मैंने जीनू जी तुमने था, और आपने एक टेक के बाद ओके कर दिया था उस दिन, और मुझे लगा ये शूटिंग है तो शूटिंग बाद में तो आशा जी गाएंगी तो ये जीनू जानू हो जाएगा. तो ही सेड हमने किसी ने भी नहीं नोटिस किया. देन ही सेड, कविता जी, श्रीदेवी जी ने ऐसा इस पे डांस किया है, आपको जब रशिस होगा आप देख लेना, ऐसा किया है कि वो जीनू ही सही लग रहा है. It looks as if she's purposely saying जीनू. तो ये गाना वापस रिकॉर्ड हो नहीं सकता, और जैसे आपने गाया है वो ठीक है, और आप भी ऐसे दोबारा गा नहीं सकती, तो ये गाना ऐसा ही रहेगा. And it stayed with that word, जीनू ने. Second time I've said Januju. When you're singing the script, suddenly you make a small mistake and you
Yeah.
continue because it's not your own song, it's a dubbing, and you don't want so many musicians to stop when the take is going so well.
And you've sung for so many leading ladies, of course. There's Manisha Koirala, like beautiful numbers, Madhuri Dixit. I think everybody, right from Aishwarya Rai also. So, ma'am, any particular of your favorites that come to your mind?
For Manisha Koirala, I think my most favorite is Dil Nikala Chuke Se.
Yeah.
And for Madhuri ji, I think I've sung so many songs, but I think Mardala has a special Kahe Ched, but Mardala has a special place. Her expressions in Mardala were so amazing when she filmed it. And of course, Aishwarya Ji, I think Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, the title track, is a song that is very close to my heart. So I've had the good. Then one actress for whom I've always enjoyed singing, and I just love the way she does the lip movement for my songs is Shabana Azmi ji.
Yeah.
Shabana ji is so good in Saaz. All the songs I've sung for her, including my classical song Badal. She is so amazing when she does a lip movement. And one of my first songs, my first Hindi songs, officially not my own song. I sang Aayega Aane Wala for a film, Lata ji's song, Aayega Aane Wala. I sang for a film called Kadambari. That would have been around 76, 77, 1976, 77.
Okay.
And that was for Shabana ji. And you should see her lip movements on Aayega Aane Wala. इतना अच्छा मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा उसमें एक लाइन मैंने गाया है आपको सच ही लगेगा कि शबाना जी गा रही हैं एंड शबाना जी herself said so many people compliment me आपने कितना अच्छा गाया है you won't feel like किसी ने गाया she's so good. She's really brilliant lip syncs for songs.
True. And ma'am, like you said, in those days, singers would record themselves with live musicians. Today, it's difficult to even imagine that people record their own portions.
Yeah, and those days also, music directors were present for recording because let's say if I sang for Nayyar Saab or Panjamda or LP, they would be there. Absolutely. They would, if it requires 10 hours, they would be there 10 hours for the song because also they were kind of particular about the grace notes we do. Even Mr. Rahman, most of the time, without his approval, because there is a particular style they all have. Anuji, Anu Malik, all of them, they used to be there. Jatin Lale, they all used to be there because there is a particular style in which they want you to sing their song. And if you go beyond the boundaries, I've had Nayyar Saab telling me कि ये हरकत मेरा नहीं है आपने लक्ष्मीकांत प्यारेलाल जी के लिए बहुत गाती है ना आप तो वो झलक रहे हैं यहाँ पे ये ओपी नैयर का गाना है he told me that. So that is the thing that they were very particular. Khayyam Saab was absolutely, he and Opi Nayyar ji were very, very particular about their style. To a certain extent, even Naushad Saab. But these two people I particularly remember because they had a particular way of singing and you had to follow that. Because they felt this was our style of song, I admire that confidence they had in their own compositions. And also, they never felt that one song should have everything in it so that it pleases everybody. They went more script based and poetry based. Their songs are all very poetry based.
Yeah. And today, even it's difficult to imagine two leading singers coming together, two female singers or even male singers for that matter. But you have sung with, I think, everybody, right from Alka ji. Of course, today so many.
Yeah, one of the most memorable songs which I did with two ladies was Anuradha, Alka, and myself. We did a song for Batwara, Thare Vastere Dhola. You hear that song. You hear that song and you see the composition is so nice. Like for Anuradha ji, one kind of antara. For me, a different antara. For Alka, more folkish kind of antara. Lakshmikant Pyara composition for J.P. Datta's film. And all three of us, there were 3 mics and all of us sang live. And I really enjoyed the fellow feeling we had. Each one of us were in that one singer studio. Each one of us was in one corner trying to learn our own lines till the take is announced, It was a very, very good feeling. We enjoyed those moments, and we used to have so many musicians playing live with us, the violinists. And we used to have in the Mehboob studio, even soloists, for soloists, we used to have Hari Prasad ji, Shiv Kumar ji coming in as soloists. Such great musicians, even Zareen Daruwala ji. All these great musicians used to be soloists and fabulous percussionists. I used to enjoy those live sessions, really. It used to be so amazing. And it's like a family working on a song together. I just love it.
Yeah. And like you said, each one of you had your unique style. So there was no, even though I'm sure others felt it's competition, but you all stood out on your own. So you all didn't really have that
Yeah.
kind.
And I've always felt that, if envy or any kind of envy or jealousy creeps into your persona, it is so negative, it can be destroying. It can be detrimental to your own singing. So I have a particular capacity to sing, okay? I have some plus points and I have a lot of minus points. I should be aware of that when I get a song and I do it to the best of my ability. I cannot sing like Alka, neither can I sing like Anuradha. I certainly cannot sing like Lataji or Ashaji. So why am I trying? Why can't I just be myself? I've been called to the studio because they want Kavita Krishnamurti.
Absolutely.
At that point of time, why should I try to be somebody else? Or why should I say she's got two more lines than me and I've got two lines less, so I'm the lesser
Yeah.
singer? That's very detrimental to me. Even
And
when
I
I
think,
sang with Shreya, even when I sang with Shreya, after that film, Shreya's career took off, right? She became a star, superstar. Okay. At that point of time, Shreya was called for being Shreya, and I was called for being me. At that point, that there is no place for negativity even with tomorrow's singers, and there's no time for negativity even with singers in the past or my contemporaries. I think that's very detrimental to one character. I think in fact, I would say if they have sung better than you please applaud them and you
mm,
go home next day and say, what is it in my singing that I should improve?
yeah,
That time will be more fruitful for me than getting up in the morning and saying, oh, I don't get enough songs. Nobody calls me. I have only two lines. That won't work with music. It will
yeah,
destroy you.
that's so
I
true.
know it needs a lot of spiritual strength, let me tell you, because these are moments which everybody faces. Every musician will face this fact that there are times when you feel very low about yourself, when you feel that your singing is not going where you want it to go professionally, or within yourself you feel I'm not singing this part well and I'm not able to get it, whereas somebody else is singing it so fluently. These things are normal thoughts and it will come, but that is where you have to stop yourself. It needs a lot of spiritual strength, I would say. You have to turn to God and maybe God will help you.
Yeah. No, I
Somebody
think
has
that
to help you.
absolutely. No, no, I think that's why
Your
you
book
have
to your
so
father,
many.
it can be your book to your father, it can be your mother, it can be your
Yeah,
sister. Somebody inspirational in front of you will help you.
yeah. No, that is the
Yeah.
reason you have so many fans and they love you so much because of your humility despite your success. So,
Thank you so much. I think, I've always felt that God has been very, very kind to me. He has thrown light in my path and brought me till this point. Uh, because, music is, uh, you can never say that you've mastered it.
mm,
Today I'm singing. If things go wrong, tomorrow I may not sing. I have to accept that fact. So, therefore, you have to just thank God and say, thank you. Today I'm singing. Thank you for today's concert. Thank you for today.
yeah, yeah, that's
I
true.
can't say it next. Next, I'm great. I'll be singing greatly for next 1 year. Music can be taken away like that from you.
Yeah. Well, that's so true. And ma'am, even back then, because of course you all were all leading singers, but was pay parity ever an issue that male singers were paid more than women, and did that ever affect you all as well?
I don't know about that, but I'm sure Shanu got more than us because Kumar Sanu was a superstar in the 90s. I remember
True,
that.
true. But so
So
were you,
it's
ma'am.
possible that he got double my payment. But but it's never worried me because I've never had to buy a I've never had to buy a Gucci or a Mercedes Benz. So I'm okay. As long as
Yeah.
I'm singing, I'm okay. So I never thought about whether Anuradha or Alka got more than me. It never bothered me. They might be richer than me, but it really doesn't bother me. I'm happy as I am.
So, that's lovely. And of course, you have achieved, every big honor today, right from, the Padma Shri to everything. And today you, of course, you're a mother, you're a wife, and you have all these achievements behind you. But it's a grandmother as
Most
well,
important,
yes.
and that's one role of life you really enjoy because you can enjoy the children without having the responsibility of being a mother.
True.
Yeah.
But ma'am, is there something that you still want to achieve? That you feel that this is still on my list?
Well, there are a lot of things. Of course, I would certainly like to continue singing for a few more years if I can. I would like my voice to stay with me for a few more years. I would definitely like to sing. And apart from that, I'm really involved with, the festival that we do, the Lakshmi Narayana Global Music Festival, which my husband has started in the name of his father, who's his guru. As you're aware, my husband is a great violinist.
Of
So
course,
this
yes.
festival that we do, I would like this festival to go on every year, and we should be able to bring a good international world music artists and continue this festival. That's one center of excellence where we have started BA and MA, and even now with Pune Vishwakarma, we've even started the PhD in music, and the syllabus has all been formed by my husband.
Wow.
And his team, but he's the main person who formed the syllabus for kind of a global music. Like if you do Carnatic music, then you're also doing a little bit of Hindustani and Western. And if you're doing Hindustani, you're doing a little bit of Carnatic and Western. So it's a kind of a global syllabus. I would like a lot of children who finish school and who are in music, instead of taking economics, physics, or something to say, I have to study, then I would rather they do the degree in music, because that's where they want to be. And they do a degree in music, get a BA, MA, PhD in music, and continue their lives. And maybe I would really, really someday be very happy if some of the poorer children, who, if our foundation can have enough money so that some of these poorer children who want to do MA, BA, and PhD in music and can't afford the university fees, if we can give them the fees and say, okay, you want to be musicians, be musicians. And some of them could be absorbed in SAPA, which is an institution my son and my daughter run, Subramaniam Academy of Performing Arts, where they employ a lot of teachers because they've introduced music as a subject in school. So these same children can be absorbed in as teachers, or if they're very talented, they can be professionals. So I think it's a dream to make sure that the next generation can stay in music, and if they are talented, they can learn classical music, global music, in whichever way which will enhance their careers.
Absolutely. I hope a lot, more people take up classical, in fact. And also, ma'am, on behalf
Yeah,
of all your fans,
they don't
including me.
have to be classical. They don't have to be classical singers, but even to be a light music singer,
Yeah,
like to be engineer and doctor, you feel they need to know the basics. I would say
basic.
even to be
Yeah,
a film singer, you don't need to know to sing a bada khayal, but you must have some foundation in classical music. It helps
absolutely.
to give you a grounding. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so true. And on behalf of all your fans, including me, we'd love to hear much more of you because, in the times when your songs are being remixed from the 90s, we'd love to hear the original. So,
Thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a
yeah.
lot.
And ma'am, we can't let you go without like two lines, any of your songs. We'd love to hear anything.
तेरी यादों के साए में गुजरेगी ये जिंदगी, उस खुदा के बाद तो पूजा होगी बस तेरी, चाहे जो मांग लो सब तुम्हारा है, चाहे जो मांग लो सब तुम्हारा है। हम दिल दे चुके सनम, तेरे हो गए हैं हम, तेरी कसम.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was beautiful, as expected from you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.